Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopichana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Rachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rachachana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parirajkacharya Sutra Satishmadesi Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai Premanande. Glorious to the assembly devotees, glorious to the assembly devotees, all glorious to the assembly devotees, glorious to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glorious to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram jaiva narottamam devim saraswatim yasam tato jayadiraya nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtike. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, Text 16. Loka swayam shreyasi nashta drishtir. Yortan samiheta nikama kamaha. Anyonya varya shukalesha hetor. Ananta dukam chana veda mudaha. Loka swayam shreshya sinashta drishtir. Yortan samiheta nikama kamaha. Anyonya vaira sukalesha hetor. Ananta dukam chana veda mudaha. Loka swayam shreyasi nashta drishtir. Yortan samiheta nikama kama. Ananya vaira sukalesha hetur. Ananta dukam chana veda mudaha. Loka svayam shresha nashta drishtir. Yorhatan samihetani kama kamaha. Anyonya vaira sukalesha hetur. Ananta dukam chana veda mudaha. Vaishnavis? Loka svayam shreyasi nashta drishtir. Yortan samihetani kama kama. Anyonya vaira sukalesha hetur. Ananta dukam chana veda mudaha. Lokaha. People. Swayam. Personally. Shreyasi. Of the path of auspiciousness. Nashta drishti. Who have lost sight. Yaha. Who. Arthan. Things meant for sense gratification. Samiheta. Desire. Nikama kamaha. Having too many lusty desires for sense enjoyment. Anyonya vairaha. Being envious of other. Sukha lesha. Heto. Simply for temporary material happiness. Ananda dukam. Unlimited sufferings. Cha. Also. Na. Do not. Veda. No. Mudaha. Foolish. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Due to ignorance, the materialistic person does not know anything about his real self-interest, the auspicious path in life. He is simply bound to material enjoyment by lusty desires, and all his plans are made for this purpose. For temporary sense gratification, such a person creates a society of envy, and due to this mentality, he plunges into the ocean of suffering. Such a foolish person does not even know about this. What is Haribol about this? It's actually, it's so heavy, It's beautiful. I mean, beautifully. It describes ignorance, and it describes the position of almost everyone in the material world. And this kind of, it brings out compassion in the heart of a Vaishnava when you see this, like, wow. And they don't even know about this. That's the crazy thing. Oh, but yes, Haribol, because we have this transcendental, and because we have transcendental knowledge to help these people. That's why Haribol. Otherwise, no Haribol. Yes, Haribol, we can help them. Yes.
Also not that we just help them, but it's also learning for us.
Yes.
We don't end up being envious and
Right.
in a society of envious people.
Yes, amongst in our own society, because Krishna consciousness is meant to be a society without envy, sometimes even amongst the devotees. Because, often we are still materialistic devotees and still have these same ignorances. Okay, let's... Before.
One little question. I have very little English. Prabhuji understand Deutsch very good. Maybe today class be on
No, Mahakrishnam. Well, ja.
Nicht so besonders. Ja, also schon verstehe ich schon, aber
Purport. The word Nashtadrishtihi, meaning one who has no eyes to see the future, is very significant in this verse. Life goes on from one body to another, and the activities performed in this life are enjoyed or suffered in the next life, if not later in this life. One who is unintelligent, who has no eyes to see the future, simply creates enmity and fights with another for sense gratification. As a result, one suffers in the next life, but due to being like a blind man, he continues to act in such a way that he suffers unlimitedly. Such a person is a muda, one who simply wastes his time and does not understand the Lord's devotional service. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.25, Naham prakashas sarvasya yoga maya samavritaha mudho yam napiya janati loko mam ajam avayam. I am never manifested to the foolish and unintelligent. For them I am covered by my eternal creative potency, Yogamaya, and so the deluded world knows me not, who am unborn and infallible. In the Katha Upanishad, it is also said, Avidyayam antare vartmanaha svayam dhiraha panditam manya manaha. Although ignorant people still go to another blind man for leadership, although ignorant people still go to another blind man for leadership. As a result, both are subjected to miserable conditions. The blind lead the blind into the ditch. Om Jnana Timmirandasya Ginanjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Namo Bhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhyevacha Patitanam Papanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Due to ignorance, the materialistic person does not know anything about his real self-interest, the auspicious path in life. He is simply bound to material enjoyment by lusty desires, and all his plans are made for this purpose. For temporary sense gratification, such a person creates a society of envy, and due to this mentality, he plunges into the ocean of suffering. Such a foolish person does not even know about this. So Lord Rishabdev teaches his sons, and I don't know how you feel, but going through this 5th chapter, these are such amazing teachings, no? So essential, very important teachings. We heard about the importance of human life and how human life is not meant for sense gratification but for divine austerity. And how Sangha causes liberation or bondage, depending on with whom we associate, the importance of Mahat Seva, serving the exalted devotees, and about how sense gratification leads to repeated birth and death, and also how to cut through this knot of illusion by giving up the cut of attachment between male and female attraction. And now, actually in this section, this text 15, 16, 17, 18 describes the responsibility of a leader. Like seeing all this suffering, seeing all this ignorance, what is the what is the response of a leader? What is the responsibility of a leader seeing this conditioned situation? And here, first of all, the qualities of an ignorant person is described. And Prabhupada explains the word nashtadrishta is very significant. One who has no eyes to see the future, Prabhupada's translated here. Or in the word by word, nashtadrishta means who has lost sight. Drishti means seeing, and nashta means not lost, not able to see. And Prabhupada says not able to see the future, not able to see the consequences of one's activities, only seeing now I want to enjoy, and not seeing what comes beyond. And Srila Vishnavad Chakravarti Thakur, he comments on this shloka. 3 verses expand on this point, like the next 3, 17, like 16, 17, 18, describe this further. Artan means visible and invisible objects of pleasure, and nikama kamaha means one who has extreme lust. Or as Prabhupada says, too much lusty desires. Nikama kamaha. So, because someone, and of course that's the situation of most people in this world, because of ignorance, they are simply identified with their body and thinking that I'm this body. They think the goal of life is to enjoy through the body, because naturally the soul has a natural desire to be happy, but not understanding that one is a soul, but thinking one is a body. One feels that I have to get pleasure through the body, and how to get pleasure through the body? For this one needs money, influence, power, and that's why all the attention is directed towards working hard so that one can enjoy more and more. And some people enjoy in a very gross way, just, bodily pleasures, just alcohol, intoxication, and of course sex life, and others, they enjoy in a more maybe sophisticated, sophisticated, yeah, that was the word, sophisticated level. They go to the art museum, although now today's art is also quite demoniac. What's going on right now in the Kunsthaus in Zurich? It's actually very dark art. But people are ignorant of their true self-interest. Have no idea what actually is. They don't know what is the consequence of their activities. That by their activities they are bound up more and more in a network of illusion and suffering, and they don't know what is their true self-interest. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Bhajan Rahasya describes the 4 types of anarthas. Which are the weakness of the heart, hridaya durbhalya, then aparat, all kind of offenses, asat trishna, material desires, and tattva vibrama, illusion about spiritual reality. So these 4 are the broader categories of 4 anarthas. Hridaya durbhalya, weakness of heart, aparat, offenses, asat trishna, material desires, and tattva vibrama, illusion. Of course, for our discussion, I mean, all are important. Material desires are 4 types. Material desire for material objects, for heavenly comforts, mystic powers, desire for liberation. These are different kinds of just desires. Then offenses are also offenses to the holy name, offenses to the form of the Lord, like seva aparat on the altar, offenses to devotees, offenses to other living entities, jiva aparat. The weakness of the heart is also of different forms. Attachment to things not related to Krishna, deceitfulness and fault-finding, envy, and desire for fame. These are the Daurabhalya. Daurabhalya means weakness in the heart. Not the fact that you criticize someone else, the fact that you see the fault in someone else, that's a weakness of your heart. The fact that you feel envy towards someone else, that's a weakness of your heart. The fact that you desire fame and fame and puja from others, that's a weakness of the heart. And the fact that you're looking for objects which are not related to Krishna, I mean material sense gratification, that's also a weakness of the heart. But all these, the desires, the weaknesses and the apparats, they start with illusion. And then there is 4 types of illusion. Svatattva Brahma, that means illusion about one's own identity. That's the first thing. We don't know even who we are. We don't know who we are. Then Paratattva Brahma, we don't know illusion about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like, I mean, who has a proper understanding of who is God in this world? Yes, there is many religions and there is many people. There's many, religious people also who read Shastra and religious books. But the understanding of God is often quite limited, and it's often also with many misconceptions. And people write books about God and who God is. But the full pictures of who God is, it's very difficult for someone to really understand. And then also illusion about the process of sadhana and prema bhakti. What is actually the process to reawaken our love of God? Who has actually a full understanding of what is the scientific process of reawakening the love of God? And then also illusion about, and that's interesting, illusion about things unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. So, like ignorance about the obstacles on the path of bhakti. That's also a form of illusion. And that's, in order to make spiritual progress, we need to know what not to do, and we need to know how to avoid things. So, but these 4 illusions, illusion about oneself, illusion about God, illusion about the process of liberation, and the illusion about the hindrance on the path, these are 4 kinds of illusions and are considered to be one of the anarthas that are there in our hearts. So, in this condition, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he makes the point that these anarthas, as if this would not be already, difficult enough, right? The fact that we have all these anarthas in our heart makes our life already quite difficult, isn't it? But on the top, these anarthas give birth to the 6 enemies. because these anarthas are there, because of ignorance is there, because of the desires are there, because aparad are there, then as a result, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy, they also take birth. So we are really into troubles, no? Having all these anarthas, being attacked by all these 6 enemies in the heart. So, and that's why Prabhupada, and of course Prabhupada in the purport speaks about this. He says that, in Rishabhdev says that due to ignorance, the materialistic person does not know anything about his real self-interest, the auspicious path in life. And basically this text also describes the same thing what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, because of the illusion, because of the anartha of not knowing about one's self-interest. Then lust comes and then envy comes. So Rishabhdev also mentioned this in his teachings here. And so when the question comes, so what is the true self-interest then? And it's interesting, today in this world people also speak about self-love, right? That and in some way the first moment self-love sounds a bit strange because love is always between two, right? Love is something, there's a relationship. Two people, they love each other. But then all of a sudden we speak about we have to love ourselves. What would you say does it means to love oneself? Yes, to care. That's right. To care about oneself also. Yeah. There's different aspects of it. You know, it means to accept oneself the way one is, you know, with all our strengths and weaknesses. Just to have some inner peace. Okay, that's the way I am. You know, I accept myself. That's a form of self-love. I accept myself the way I am. Of course, we also try to improve ourselves, but just as a starting point. Then also it means that we take care of our well-being. Is it the physical well-being, mental well-being, emotional well-being? That means also we know our borders. We can say no. People ask us, please do this. Can you help? I'm sorry, my energy is low. I need some time for recreation. I need to take care of myself. That's self-love. And also the way, that's an interesting one, the way we deal with our own thoughts, or the way our self-talk, the way we talk to ourselves reflects or tells a lot about our self-love. Because often it is so that the way we talk to ourselves, and we all have self-talk, right? That's kind of a normal thing. We kind of talk to ourselves, we think in the way we think. And sometimes we are so harsh, so heavy to ourselves. If someone else would talk like this to us, we become very upset, you know, with that person. How can you dare to say like this? But we ourselves, we speak very badly with us, very heavy. And self-love also means to be a little bit kind to ourselves and not to be too harsh. Of course, sometimes we also need to, like the mind, sometimes we have to also, you know, give some mana shiksha. That's also there. So in this way, there's different ways, and of course, it's self-love that has nothing to do with egoism or, but it has to do with just being, you know, caring about oneself. Now, but from a Krishna conscious perspective, the true self-love at the end of the day, and of course these things are all important, but the true self-love at the end of the day is to know your self-interest. Because if you don't know your self-interest, then this is what Prabhupada calls, or Prabhupada gives the example of the bird in the cage, right? The famous example. You keep a bird in a cage, and you polish the cage every day. It's maybe a golden cage, and you nicely polish it every day. But you don't give any food and water to the bird inside. The bird will starve and then one day will die. And that's what we do. We take care of sometimes we don't even care of the body, but to some degree we take care of the body and the external needs, but we kind of neglect the soul, the self, the actual self. But of course, if you don't even know who you are, how can you take care of yourself, right? People don't even know that they are spiritual beings, and therefore they don't even know that. And in the Bhagavatam we find also many description on this topic. Let me see. This is in the first canto, second chapter. Of course, the famous Savai Pungsam Parado Savai Pungsa Parod Harmo Yato Bhaktira Dokshaje Ahitukiya Prahitata Yatma Suprasidati. The supreme occupation or the supreme dharma for all humanity is that by which man can attain loving devotional service unto the Transcendental Lord. And such devotional service must be unmotivated, uninterrupted, and completely satisfying the self. Yajatma suprasidhati. So the Atma, the self, will be satisfied, will be completely satisfied, the self. When will it be satisfied? When we engage in the paradharma, in the supreme dharma, which is to please Krishna. And that service should be rendered unmotivational and uninterrupted. And sometimes devotees take up to Krishna consciousness and practice, and at some point they give it up and they say, oh, it doesn't work for me. But have they actually practiced the process as it's described? Have they actually rendered service unmotivated and uninterrupted? Because only if we do it properly, then the self finds that satisfaction. And of course, it's also described different results. If one actually does so, then knowledge and detachment from the world will automatically come. And then it also says here, life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life for self-preservation, since human being is meant for inquiring about the absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's work. So that's just the opposite what the whole world is doing, right? Like here it says, life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. And today's motto is, life's desires should be only directed towards sense gratification. That's the motto. Like there's always there's a motto, just do it. What is the motto from whom? Nike. Or make America great again. It's the motto of Trump. Or okay, you can say Prabhupada says, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Or back home, back to God. That's Prabhupada's motto. But the motto of the material world is, life's desires should always be directed towards sense gratification. That's basically the life motto in the material world. And the Bhagavatam says that's exactly how it not should be done. But one's goal of one's work should be always to inquire about the absolute truth. Why? Because this is the real self-interest. Because we are not these bodies, we are the soul. And the soul hankers for that relationship with God. Like Thomas Merton, this Christian monk, he said that there is in the heart there is like a vacuum, and only God can fill that vacuum. No one else. And Sachinanda Maharaj, he expanded the analogy and says there is a form in the form of Shyamasundar, three band playing flute. That's the form. Like if you have there's this toy, wooden toy, where you have different holes, like round shaped and triangle shaped, and then you have different hole wooden, and you have to put it into the right hole, right? So, and in the heart we have a hole which is shaped in the form of Krishna. And we try to fill it with so many other things, but only if we put Krishna, if we put bhakti, spiritual life, we can actually fill that hole. And that's what people don't know. And of course, here comes the compassionate heart of the Vaishnava, who can see that people are so much in ignorance, and that's also what is the topic in this shlokas, the responsibility of a leader. If a leader sees this, and this is also what Vishnava Chakravarti Thakur says here, let me see, into text 17, he says, one second. Sorry, I got lost. Vishnava Chakravarti Thakur says, Seeing such a person's foolishness, should one encourage him? Not at all. Who will tell a blind man going on the wrong path to continue on the path? No one will tell him. I mean, imagine, you are, and sometimes we see blind people, you know, sometimes you go in the city and you see a blind person, usually they have this stick, and with the stick they tap in front of them. I mean, such a condition, you know, to be blind. I mean, imagine you can't see anything. It's always dark, and you're always in this, you know, little anxiety. Maybe I hit somewhere. It's such a condition, and you see a blind person walking, and then there is a ditch somewhere, and the blind man is walking just towards the ditch. I mean, who would just tell the person, yes, go on, walk? Nobody would do that. I mean, unless you're very mean, demoniac person, right? Everyone would say, hey, stop, you know, please go this path, right? So this is what Vishnu Chakravartin says. No one would tell, just go on. Everyone would tell, hey, stop, this is a danger. And therefore a leader, the responsibility of a leader is to tell people what is their duty, what they should do and what they should not do. And of course, in today's society, unfortunately, we have the blind electing another blind, and then the blind leads the blind in the ditch, and they all fall into the ditch because they don't know what is the goals of life. So, but as devotees, and of course as Prabhupada created Brahmanas, that was Prabhupada's whole plan, to create a society of Brahmanas who then become the head of the society, who then can lead the Kshatriyas, those who lead the nation. And I mean, without going too much into details, usually I avoid to bring in politics into the Bhagavatam class. But the fact that the President of the United Nations, I mean, which will be starting his period next year, States. United States. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, not as far, but that would be the next level. But yeah, the President of America, in his team, he has a Vaishnavi. You know that? Tulsi Garber. She's a Gaudiya Vaishnavi, and she's not she's not part of the institution ISKCON, but I think her parents were devotees, and she's initiated. She's initiated by a Prabhupada disciple, and she has great appreciation for Prabhupada, and she practices. I mean, she has a very deep understanding of Bhagavad Gita. She's a practicing Vaishnavi, and she is in the top team, the top 5 members, which give guidance to the President of America. That's kind of quite far out, I must say, because she will tell him, listen, this is. I mean, that's quite impressive. And that's what actually Prabhupada wanted. That's what Prabhupada wanted. Prabhupada wanted to create a class of brahmanas who have have spiritual understanding, and then can guide those who are in power to give them a proper direction. And in this way, society can change. And otherwise, it will be very difficult. Yes, and I think I will stop here and open up for questions or comments. Mm-hmm. Yes. Uh-huh. Yes, devotional service should be performed unmotivated. And we find in Kapila Shiksha, in the 3rd canto of the Bhagavatam, Kapila Dev describes devotional service in the 3 modes. Well, not exactly devotional service, because devotional service is always transcendental, but the practitioners, the practitioner, the sadhaka in the different modes, practicing bhakti, and then how it manifests, right? And of course, pure devotional service is unmotivated, uninterrupted, and this is also described just like like the Ganges flows towards the sea, or just like a honey, if you open a honey jar, it just flows without interruption. So similarly, the devotion and the love of a pure devotee is just flowing without interruption. Is always, that means 24 hours, every activity, every thought, every word, every action is fully in line with pleasing the Lord. That's pure devotional service. And it's just because of the purity of the heart, such a person cannot think anything for himself, but he's always thinking of Krishna. Now that's the transcendental level. But on the level of sattva guna, and as soon one is not transcendental, as soon one is influenced by the gunas, then one is called by the Bhagavatam a separatist. One has a separate desire from the Lord. Because pure devotional service means my only desire is Krishna. I only want to please Krishna. My interest is with Krishna. But if I'm not pure, if I'm influenced by the modes, then I have self-interest for me. But sattva guna is not so bad because my self-interest is liberation. I want to be freed. And that's not too bad. I mean, it's still conditioned. But a devotee in sattva guna, he of course he tries to please Krishna, but it's still a little motivated because he also wants to get purified. He also wants to be liberated. He wants to be free from suffering. But his devotional service is quite nice. He tries to please the Lord. He's very kind to the devotees. He makes friendship with devotees and he tries to help others. Sattvic devotional service, and that's what we should strive for. And from that platform, we can finally come to the transcendental platform. But then, unfortunately, there is also the Rajaguna and Tamaguna, which we are also influenced by. And Rajaguna means that the person has self-interest of, I perform devotional service, but I also want to have some material, like some enjoyment, wealth, and fame and name. I also want that. You know? So I perform bhakti, but please also give me some honor. Like I'm dressing the deities, but then I also want to make sure that everyone understands who had dressed the deity today, and everyone should applaud for my creative ability to dress so beautifully, right? So I have that desire that people honor me as a great pujari, or as a great singer, or as a great speaker, whatever. There is this desire. So it's kind of, although we are meant to serve the deities for their pleasures, that they are just looking beautiful and that they are happy, and we speak to glorify Krishna. But if I also have a separate desire to also get some enjoyment from it, that people respect me, then it's mixed. And it's mixed. It's not unmotivated. It's not the only reason why I dress the deity, because I want to please the Lord. I also want something for me. And then when the ignorance kicks in, tamaguna, then it becomes ugly, because then even envy is there, and I can't tolerate that others are glorified, and then I'm ready to even become violent, to hurt others in the name of religion. And that's what we see all over the place, right? In the name of religion, people do so many stupid things. Because it's influenced by tamaguna. So in this way, Kapila gives us quite a scientific way to look at it. And then Sri Vishnavacharya Thakur also, because then we have the three gunas, and then there's 3 levels, and then there's also the 9 processes of devotional service. And this way we come to 81 different forms of devotional service. No, because you can practice, let's say, chanting Hare Krishna. You can practice in Tamaguna, in Rajaguna, and Sattvaguna, and then there is 9 different processes you can practice in different stages, like that. So that's the motivation, and uninterrupted. Yeah, in a sense of course, as long we are not pure and it will be difficult to be fully uninterrupted serving, because we also need some time in between. But even if we have the proper motivation, even in our level, I need to sleep 6-7 hours a day, But I can do it in a consciousness of, okay, let me take rest so that I can serve again tomorrow. You know, then even this resting can be considered devotional service in a way, that because I make my body ready for the next day. Right? Yes.
So we practice devotional service for years now, and we read all the books, and we know what is our self-interest, but still we for example, are motivated differently, like what you described now. So sometimes you feel like helpless because you understand, like intellectually, but there is, we can talk about anarthas, but still, it's like...
Well, but I mean, if you are aware of some of your anarthas, that's already half of the job done, because in fact many people, and also sometimes devotees, don't even know about their anarthas. Then it becomes more difficult. If we are already aware of the anarthas, then that's already a very good step, and then we just need to trying to deepen our practice and pray. But that brings up the question of transformation. You remember, I think this summer we had with Keshav Maharaj this whole seminar on the art of transformation. And Maharaj started his seminar with the question: is transformation actually happening? No, like in the Bhagavatam or in the scripture, we find these amazing transformations. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Gaya, receives initiation from Ishvara Puri, and he comes back completely transformed. You know, like first he was Nimai Pandit, the dry Jnani, and then next moment he's like a completely ecstatic bhakta. We also took first initiation. Did it happen to us? So how much did we transform, after the initiation? So in the scripture we see these amazing transformations, but in our life sometimes we don't see them so drastically. And Maharaj gave us many good kind of tools and ideas on how to work on that, to make sure that this transformation actually takes place in our heart. And Maharaj also said we need to see that transformation may take... There is different triggers for transformation, but there is also transformation takes place in different areas. In some areas we maybe already have actually changed a lot, in others maybe not so much, but we need to see the whole picture. Yes, I didn't spoke anything about Rasa Yatra. I didn't spoke about Tulsi. Devasharyadik must be very disappointed. Would you like to say something about Tulsi? Okay, we can, on our own, we can read something. Glorify Shaligram Shila and Tulsi Vivaha. Good, thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Vanchakalpatrubhyascha. Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
It's the Rasa dance day of Krishna with the gopis tonight.
This night?
He wants to try to join us.
I had a question. Because yesterday I was discussing with the senior devotee, but when you gave this example of how there is this carving of Krishna, and that's what's there in the heart, and that's the vacuum. And we were discussing how even when we come on the path of Krishna consciousness, although our life is meant for God realization, we try so hard to run away actually. Even after we become devotee, we think we need this for purification, we need that for purification. But ultimately we just need Krishna for our purification. And even in our spiritual life, although we know the knowledge, but sometimes I wonder why we're trying so hard to run away from Krishna. And there can be this realization that, for a fact we can know that we're trying to run away, but still somehow we run. And then how should we then, when we have this realization, or this acceptance of the fact that everything around in life is such a distraction.